So over the years, there's been a lot of players that have come through non-league and moved on to bigger and better things to play in the Premier League. Some examples of this: Chris Smalling, Joe Hart, Troy Deeney, Charlie Austin, Jamie Vardy, the list goes on. And that made me wonder what current players from non-league could go on to play at this same level. So that is what this video is, the non-league team of the future. So all of these players are players that I believe have a realistic chance of going on to play at least in the Football League, if not up in the Premier League. We have got Grant Smith. He's a 23-year-old goalkeeper playing for Bournemouth. He's been there for the whole of this season after signing from Bognor Regis Town in the summer. He's played 45 games so far this season and kept 15 clean sheets, conceding just 48 goals. That's the fourth best defensive record in the National League. So very impressive from a young man. He's got a big future ahead of him. In at right back is Sam Magri. He plays for Dover Athletic and he's 23 years old. He's a Maltese international after playing for England's under-16s, under-17s, under-18s and under-19s. He switched to Malta and now has 2 international caps. Standing at 6'2", he has over 75 appearances in the last 2 years at Dover Athletic. He's also had spells earlier in his career with Portsmouth, Crystal Palace and QPR. Although he didn't make any appearances for those clubs, he's moved down to non-league to Dover and he's now working his way back up again. At centre-back is Sam Hughes. He's a 19-year-old defender from Chester. He's come through the Chester Youth Academy and became the youngest ever player to captain his side, aged just 19 back in March. Chester rejected a £75,000 bid from Championship side Barnsley back in January. He's out of contract at the end of the season, so it is likely that he might move on. With plenty of Championship and even Premier League clubs interested, there will be a tribunal fee involved though, so Chester won't be completely empty-handed. In his first full season at Chester, he's made 30 appearances, scoring 2 goals. Hughes' centre-back partner in this team is Lincoln City's Sean Raggett. He joined last summer from Dover Athletic for a fee of around £60,000 and has been incredible this season for the Imps. Prior to joining Lincoln, he made over 150 appearances for Dover after coming through the Youth Academy at Gillingham. He rose to fame earlier this year with his winner against Burnley in the FA Cup 5th round for Lincoln in the 89th minute. That goal netted Lincoln around about £1 million, and that is very substantial for Lincoln, considering that he has a rumoured £100,000 release clause in his contract. Again, another player that has Premier League and Championship clubs interested in him. Will Lincoln be able to keep hold of one of their most prized assets? In at left back is another one of Lincoln's most prized assets in the shape of Sam Habergam, a 25-year-old fullback. Habergam played under the Cowley brothers last season at Braintree and followed them up north to Sincilbank last summer. He's played 43 games this season, scoring 3 goals. Particular qualities that he has: he's a great set-piece taker, he's a great crosser, and he's a very useful player to have on that left-hand side. Moving into midfield, and on the right-hand side we have Ben Tollett of Tranmere Rovers. He's 22 years old and joined the Prenton Park side back in September on an initial loan deal from Portsmouth in League 2. He scored 3 goals in 9 games during that loan spell and was an instant hit with the Tranmere fans. Tollett's loan deal was made permanent in December 2016 and he went on to make another 8 appearances, scoring another 3 goals before a season-ending injury in late February. This didn't matter towards the Tranmere fans in terms of liking him. He's been an instant hit with the fans and they were disappointed that he is now out injured until the end of the season, but he has been tipped for a very, very bright future. In central midfield, we have Kundai Benyu. He is a 19-year-old central midfielder on loan at Aldershot Town from Ipswich. He initially joined Aldershot in December on a 1-month loan. This deal has since been extended until the end of the season due to his very, very impressive performances. He's been a very important part of Aldershot's rise up into the playoffs near the end of the season, and he scored 5 goals in his 20 games at Aldershot. From central midfield, for a 19-year-old, that is very impressive. His central midfield partner is 23-year-old Alex Woodyard. He plays for Lincoln City and he has been one of the best players in the league this season. He certainly enjoys playing under the Cowley brothers. He played for them at Concord Rangers, then followed them to Braintree, and then at the start of this season followed them up alongside Habergam to Lincoln City. He reportedly had offers from Championship clubs in January and he turned them down to sign a new contract at Lincoln, committing his long-term future to the club. He's very highly rated and he is tipped for a big future, especially considering there are Championship clubs already interested in him. He wants to play football, so he's staying at Lincoln, but long term I'm sure he will move on to play at a high level. So in at left midfield we have Corey Whiteley. He's a 25-year-old winger currently playing for Dagenham and Redbridge after joining at the start of the season from Enfield Town. He was named in the Team of the Season for the Ryman League Division North in 2013 and then in the Team of the Season for the Ryman League Premier Division in 2015. He was also named as Player of the Season for Enfield Town for the last 2 years and has scored 16 goals in 40 games for the Daggers this season in the National League. He's described as a quick and powerful winger that can also play up front, and his Twitter handle is Stepovers7, so that gives you the sort of impression of the player that he is. Or at least he thinks he is. But he's had a good season, so I think we'll let him off because that is a bit of a cringy Twitter handle, not gonna lie. Moving up top, and we have, in my opinion, the hottest prospect in non-league. I can really see this guy going to play in the Premier League in future years. His name is Idris Kanu. He is just 17 years old and he's the only man on this list that's actually younger than me. He played in the West Ham Youth Academy between 2010 and 2016 before going on to have a trial with Manchester United earlier this season. However, he turned them down and decided to move to Aldershot because he wanted game time rather than sitting in a youth academy. He's made a very, very bold move to go to a club that is going to offer him games. And it's very rare to see players making this sort of decision, so full credit to him. It's a very brave and very, very admirable decision for him to go and sign for Aldershot, where he has played consistently since making his debut earlier in the season, aged just 16 years and 308 days, making him the youngest ever player to play for Aldershot. He also became the club's youngest ever goal scorer when he scored against Lincoln City, aged 16 years and 343 days. He's a very quick and agile striker that can definitely succeed at a higher level in my opinion. He signed a long-term contract with Aldershot until 2019, tying up his future and if nothing else ensuring that Aldershot will get a really healthy fee if they sell him on. But I think really it's because he wants game time. He really means it when he went to Aldershot to say, I want to get game time. He could have gone to Manchester United, but instead he finds himself with Aldershot playing regularly, which is going to help him develop himself and get him a good career long term. So finally in the starting 11 is a 28-year-old striker. He is the oldest player on this list by some margin. His name is Ricky Miller. He scored 36 goals this season for Dover in the National League, by far the top scorer in the league. He was named as the National League Player of the Season by league sponsors Vanarama just a few days ago. He joined Dover Athletic 3 years ago, initially on loan from Luton Town. Dover is actually his 22nd club of his career, which is really surprising considering he's only been in the Football League for a very short period of time with Luton, where he made just 12 appearances. However, since dropping back down into non-league, Ricky Miller has scored 55 goals in around 80 appearances, an excellent goal-to-game ratio for a striker at any level. Now for some of the players that didn't quite make it into the starting 11 but definitely still deserve mentioning. The first one is a centre-back who I've watched a lot this season. He plays for my team, Kidderminster Harriers. His name is Jordan Tunnicliffe. He's 23 years old. He's a ball-playing centre-half. He wins all his headers. He's such a quality centre-half that I don't think we'll be able to keep hold of this summer. Hopefully we will be, fingers crossed, but he is an absolutely excellent player that I think will go and play on at a much higher level. Mitch Hancock is a 23-year-old left-back that can also play in midfield, and he currently plays for Macclesfield Town. Rory Deacon is a 25-year-old winger who plays for Sutton United. He's attracted interest from Championship clubs such as Nottingham Forest and Fulham reportedly. He's also in line for a call-up for the Jamaican national team. Blair Turgott, he's a 22-year-old winger who plays for hometown club Bromley. He scored 12 goals this season after being a regular in their starting 11. He was named Player of the Month for December 2016 for the Vanarama National League as well. Christian Deutsch, he's a 24-year-old striker who scored 25 goals this season for Forest Green. Brady Hickey is a 21-year-old attacking midfielder who plays for Barwell in the Northern Premier League. He scored 19 goals this season, a very impressive tally from a midfielder that is that young as well. He's been dubbed as the non-league Frank Lampard, so no pressure on him at all there. That is a huge comparison to make. And finally, on the bench is Michael Cheek. He scored 34 goals in 69 appearances for Braintree Town in the last 2 years. He was a big reason as to why they were able to finish in the playoffs last year. And this year, he's managed to still score 18 goals despite being in a team that is deep in a relegation battle. So there you have it. That is the non-league team of the future, at least in my opinion. Which players do you agree with? Which players do you disagree with? Or are there any other players that you think will go and play at a higher level? Make sure that you let me know in the comment section down below. If you've enjoyed this video, then hit that like button and subscribe to stay up to date with non-league football. And as always, thanks for watching.